Okay, I'm down.
How are you seeing today in Ukraine?
I think this is in Ukraine. This is basically very interesting because I think now there are almost nothing in Ukraine about me, with exception of now this campaign, this story about Hunka, and became popular. So there were like accusations of me again, a campaign against me in the media. Some media in Galicia region of Western Ukraine accused me basically of basically of spreading Russian propaganda about Galicia division. And so this is, and some of them even send me kind of threats, death threats, and so on social media. So this is like kind of now kind of a situation, because anything which goes against narrative kind of is basically is considered to be unacceptable in Ukraine. But I was given a lot of interviews in the media of Ukraine, kind of based on my research. Even before, I found actually that Ukrainian mathematician here, who was again one of the leading Ukrainian mathematicians, who was arrested and sent to Gulag and perished in Gulag, had his mathematical publications used by and translated by American inventor of electronic digital computer, in again, who was also a mathematician and created his computer to speed up solution of mathematical and statistical equations. So this was kind of useful, and I gave a lot of interviews, publications. But after I published Maidan Massacre study in 2000, after I did Maidan Massacre study in 2014, all my property, all my house, land, and all other property was seized by the local government, by the judges, on orders from the top in retaliation for this. So I now could not travel to Ukraine because of, again, because all the property was taken away.
So your property was taken away because you wrote certain things about the Maidan Massacre?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, and we're going to get into that now. But just to summarize what you said, so you, people are angry that you talked about who Yaroslav Hunka was. You've gotten into trouble for both of those things. But in the case of the Maidan Massacre, which is really a testament to how good your research is, which we're going to get into right now, you wrote things that were unpopular enough that they seized your land, your home, your house.
Yes.
What was the justification?
So this was totally made up. Again, this actually judges issued totally opposite decision. They first recognized me as owner of this house, of the land, and everything. But later, actually, I was told by my lawyers who had connections in the local courts that there was a phone call to the judge to issue such decision. And there was no evidence at all. All the evidence was in kind of in supporting of, basically, I provided testimony of my 12 neighbors who live, again, who know me. This is like house which I used. I travel from Canada, from the United States each summer. My mother lived there. I was born there. Again, it was actually bought by my grandmother and my grandfather from the Czechs who were, again, in Czech colony, who were expelled to Czech Republic, Czechoslovakia. And after my grandparents and my mother were expelled from Poland as part of, again, ethnic cleansing in 1945. So I had all the documents, but again, this did not matter. The decision was issued specifically by the judge on order from the top, and specifically there is a strong connection between this judge's kind of decision, because the judge who was in charge of this case, kind of in charge of this court system in my Volhynia region, he was connected to the oligarch who was basically oligarch in kind of from Kolomoisky clan, and at the time Maidan snipers, some of the Maidan snipers from far-right organization became members of his party, and he was also governor of the Odessa region, kind of which, and he financed Azov, neo-Nazi Azov battalion and the right sector. So this is, so for me, basically, kind of, it was kind of a very clear case of retaliation, and I still cannot return my house, even so I have all the lawyers, all the documents. So basically, this is justice system in Ukraine, and a retaliation for academic research for my
And I just want to say, not that this should matter because you're a very like esteemed academic, but I just want people to know, because this has become so politicized. You're Ukrainian. You're not at you're not a Russian, you're not ethnically Russian. Again, I feel weird even mentioning that. I just want people to know that, because I know automatically people are going to be like, oh, he must be a Putinist. He must be a Putin propagandist. So I just want people to know that. Yeah.
Yes, I'm ethnic Ukrainian from Western Ukraine, which is most anti-Russian region.
Right.
And I mentioned already, I attended first opposition demonstrations in Ukraine when it was just attended by like just few dozen people. And this was by Ukrainian Helsinki group. And at this demonstration, one female participant tried to unveil Ukrainian flag, and she was arrested by undercover agents. So this is,
right.
And I have no connection to Russia at all.
Yeah.
And I supported European Union membership of Ukraine when it was not even an issue. So I published editorials in the Kyiv Post, in Ukrainian media, calling for Ukrainian membership of European Union, because I believe this would be only a viable way for Ukraine to become democratic and to avoid breakup and to avoid a civil war. But I think this did not happen. And I always supported democracy. I always support human rights, and this is why I'm doing research about all these topics. I have no link to Russia. And again, I never been to Russia. Yeah, I've been to Russia once in 1992, going to conference in Estonia, academic conference in Estonia. So this was just on my way to conference and back. And so this is the only time I've been to Russia. So I have no connection to Russia at all. I do not support Russian invasion of Ukraine. I consider this illegal. But again, I'm doing this research, and I am saying what I found based on evidence and not based on politics. I think this is kind of just ridiculous to claim that anybody who says something, again, which is not supported by mainstream narrative, is actually kind of linked to Putin and so on. This is, for me, kind of very similar to what I found during Great Terror in the Soviet Union, when millions of people were arrested and accused of being spies and members of terrorist organization because they visited like Western countries, even 20 years before, or they have correspondence with people in Poland or kind of Germany or Italy or United States, or had family relatives and so on. So this was kind of similar evidence. They were arrested and denounced as enemies of the people without any actual evidence. And I think the same claims are just ridiculous and unacceptable for, again, any rational discussion.